It's Sunday, December 21st, and we actually aren't expecting any severe weather today, but we are expecting to have some pretty precipitation in some areas that we've been seeing a lot recently, specifically the Pacific Northwest. So, right now, we're just going to kind of dive right into our pretty broad national forecast. Right now, we're still continuing to see this essentially atmospheric river going on out here, out west, specifically Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. And this is caused by a pretty strong high pressure system down just off the coast of Baja and Southern California. And then a pretty strong low pressure system up here right off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. And what this is doing is kind of just funneling in our jet stream just like this, forcing up a lot of the air from the Pacific Ocean onshore, and it's bringing just loads and loads of rain. This is why it really hasn't stopped raining out here in almost a month at this point, and this trend is only expected to continue with a couple of areas which could be expected to see some stronger thunderstorms. Really, the only area that the Storm Prediction Center has even highlighted in the entire nation for thunderstorms today is going to be on the Pacific coast out here in the Pacific Northwest. That is really the only area to watch. Other than that, just looks like it's going to be a lot of rain and still a lot of snow in the higher elevations. Now, for the rest of the country, which hasn't really been getting a whole lot of attention in the last couple of days, because really the only significant thing that's been happening has been out in the Pacific Northwest. That looks like that's going to probably stay the same. Once again, we have a really strong ridge building in out east that's going to bring a lot more calmer weather, but as of right now, it could actually spawn a couple of little systems or actually kind of increase the strength of them, as it will bring some more organizing shear. Now, the first one is going to be a cold front actually interacting pretty far down in the southeast, kind of centered on top of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. This looks like it could bring some light showers, nothing serious here though. And then we also have a little bit of a kink in our cold front, kind of back here in Texas near the Houston and just Texas Gulf coastline. And we also have a embedded low pressure system back here. And then also, if we watch our jet stream, we can also see that we're going to have a stationary front kind of start to move northwards, interacting with our jet stream. We're also kind of amplifying our jet stream. This will likely mean that we could see some snow and precipitation as we go into the night and early morning hours tomorrow, even out here in the Midwest. But that's pretty much it for today for precipitation, at least. On the snow front, it's also not looking that crazy. Really, the only areas which we're expecting to see snow are, of course, going to be out in the Pacific Northwest. We have seen loads and loads of snowfall out here in the higher elevations recently, and now we're starting to see snowfall in the Sierra Nevada range, pretty much due east of San Francisco a lot. I think that's going to start to accumulate there pretty rapidly. Then also up here in the Midwest and Northeast, not a whole lot of snowfall today, maybe a couple of flurries at most, accumulating potentially 1 to 2 inches of snow. But that's pretty much going to be it for precipitation in general. But there are going to be a lot of changes with our temperature, specifically with that being a rising trend. And with that rising trend, we're actually going to start pretty cool with those couple of cold fronts that I was talking about pretty briefly over in our broad national forecast. Those are going to reach pretty far south in the morning hours today, with our freezing line maybe even reaching down into the Texas panhandle in northern Arkansas. But unfortunately for the people who like the cold, it is going to retreat just as quickly as it came. In the afternoon today, we can see that our freezing line retreats all the way back up to the far northeast, far Great Lakes region, and just the far north in general, and just the higher elevations with some really, really good winter weather. This is going to be kind of the Goldilocks sector right here, kind of the central plains, the Ozarks, and then the mid-Atlantic as well. And then it's going to start to get a little toastier than we'd like to see, probably the high 60s, 70s, and even the 80s in the southernmost parts of the country. I'm talking the southern portions of Texas and Florida. But in this sector, kind of the south to southeast, the southern plains, the Gulf region, and then the desert southwest, going to be pretty hot. Now, unfortunately, if you're not a big fan of this news, it is not going to get better. In fact, it is only going to get warmer with even on Monday or tomorrow, we could see that big plume of warm temperature being aided by that high pressure system. This is going to be a very strong ridge, in fact, historically strong ridge, which could see some potentially low 70s temperatures as far as South Dakota. That's pretty crazy for only 3 days or a couple of days before Christmas. And then this trend is only going to continue, where on Christmas Day, there is the potential that we could see 70-degree temperatures in Chicago. So if you are a big fan or you were hoping to see a white Christmas, that possibility is probably going to be eliminated for most of the country, specifically the central and eastern United States, with that probably only being reserved for the far, far northern US.